long match.
3-segment match, first opening on the show.
And
with Booker and
we did, yeah.
They were really funny guys, and great characters as well.
No, they were, and it was funny too because the dynamic of they're so on the opposite end of the spectrum, right? Like this weird guy that wears makeup and is just like crazy, and Booker's like funny, but he can be serious, and it's almost like he liked him, but he didn't like him, and you kind of felt sorry for him. It just worked. And it was good for our kind of heel foil, like to be that because we're just like these idiots, and so. But remember that one match, the rope broke.
Yes.
We worked like half the match with the broken rope.
The second rope broke. I went to do the drop kick.
Yeah. Why too short is not getting up to that top rope.
Dude, I jumped up like a gazelle. Like a gazelle, or a Giselle. I jumped up to huge, man. That was great. We used to do this spot where Goldust used to do he would put you in the corner and put your legs apart, and then he'd run and give you a kick of the balls.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, the Golden Globes.
Golden Globes, or Shattered Dreams. Which was it both?
I think it might have been Golden Globes first. I think it might have
And
been
Shattered Dreams second. So I would go up, and he would put me in the position.
Yeah.
Then he would go to do it, but then you'd attack him from behind.
Or I pull his foot when he went to run.
Pull his foot when to run. And then he would end up, what do you do? Bring you back in, then he would throw your head into my balls.
That's right. Yeah, then I would go to. I don't know where it was. I don't know.
Basically,
He would. I would go to sneak attack him. He'd stop me, and then he ran me into your.
to my
Genital
ball bag. Which always elicited a huge response from people like you. And then, of course, famous though, it's been 10, 12 years, the famous Madison Square Garden Jericho versus Christian WrestleMania match, WrestleMania 20.
Right.
New York City.
Good times.
Never watched it.
You don't need to. It's good. Canadian
places, which is where I think the idea might have come from, where they make a bet to destroy someone's life.
This is how much $1 Canadian meant to me, apparently, that we won that the Bischoff versus Stone Cold Survivor Series match, and then because we won, he was going to give each one of us a favor. So instead of like using mine for like a world title match or something like that, I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to use mine to keep Leah, so she'll just get fired. That's right. Think about it, like, logically.
I forgot they gave us a wish.
Yeah.
And you kept Lita from getting fired.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of
I wanted to win that dollar.
really bad. Do you remember because we did all that stuff too with like the sandwich boards with Austin? Hell no, we won't go.
We were getting.
Austin was the commissioner.
Oh, because we were a hostile work environment, right? So we were
Right.
like drunk with power.
Yeah. Austin had the power. They would have us do all those comedic, like ridiculous, funny things because they knew we could get it over, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we do the WrestleMania 20 match, which starts out with I think it was Trish.
She wasn't out there.
She wasn't out there, right. So and what did you?
So I put her in your finish like the week or two before. We hadn't seen her from her since.
She was gone, right?
Yeah.
Was that?
She was distracting you from our tag team.
Because that's what led to our
conquest.
See, it's always a girl that hates two guys. It's froze before hose, man. You should have known that.
I did know that. Apparently, you didn't.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Was it? I can't remember that match though. I remember. Was it? Have you seen it? Is it good?
I stole the show. It was a good match. Yeah. I haven't watched it back in years, but I do remember watching it back. And there was there was I think a spot there where we went up and we were going to do like a butterfly suplex or something from the top rope. And just because there's not much room up there, and there was like some oil in the rope or something. But I slipped and fell back down, and somehow you kind of caught me and like pulled me back up, and somehow it worked out better. It was like more real almost. Like I like stuff like that, you know.
Like I said, there was oil on the ropes.
Yeah.
And then you just thought
I think I stepped on my. I think I stepped on your shoelace.
Fan ran in the rain and pulled my leg or
There was
something.
like somebody opened the bay door in the back, and there was a breeze that came through. I think it was an earthquake too.
That's right, a typhoon, a tsunami. But the other one that makes me think about was we had a ladder match in Portland.
Yeah.
And we had worked on this finish.
Yeah. And I remember I was just coming back from like a back injury. And like I'd run in, and then Adam had gotten hurt, so it was supposed to be you and Adam, and they switched to me and you because I was just cleared to come back for a back injury, and then he got hurt, and then so I was like, oh cool, first match back, another match. Ease right into it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we worked up the spot where with the finish where you were gonna swing the belt. And it was, we were fighting, both trying to grab it, and then you swung it, and then it would hit me in the back of the head, and I would fall off.
And that was the finish, yeah.
It was
Because if you swing the belt, it goes all the way this way, and then comes straight back, and it would perfectly hit him in the face.
Yeah.
And we tried it like
And it worked like
10 times.
It worked every time.
Perfect. Bam. So it's like, what a finish. We've never seen this before.
Yeah.
It's hard when you do a ladder match to think of stuff that's new.
And it's dramatic, and it's like, you know, it's shocking.
Yeah.
So to get all those, the word for reaction, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
you're trying to get the most out of the moment. So then it goes a swing, and I'm like, I see it come back, and it's like this, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
So I'm like,
I swang it, and it goes, and then of course it just goes, there's some oil.
And I think it might have like, I think it might have like grazed my head or something. And I was
It
like,
was really
and I was like, I think it's with you, bulldog, and you just bulldog me off the thing, and that was it.
And then climb back up again. But it was so bad because, like you said, you see it go, okay, here we go, baby, fight. Swing the belt, and it goes super straight, and then it just completely goes like meow. And, you know, when you're in the course of a ladder match, it's very real because it's dangerous. You can get hurt. You do feel. I remember I fell on the ladder on my ass.
Yeah.
It penetrated me.
Yeah.
I've been penetrated by a steel ladder, ladies and gentlemen. For real. That's not even a joke. And it's so like you're in the moment, and the illusion is there. And as this thing is coming back, and I can tell that it's moving and it's not going to hit you, the whole thing just goes womp womp womp.
Yeah. The thing is too, you can have the best match in the world. If the finish it just kills the whole thing.
It kills it. Yeah, and it's like I still like that never should have been approved. Like we should never have been allowed. Like here's the finish.
Yeah.
Are you sure it's going to work? It's worked every time.
Yeah.
Which means it's not going to work.
I don't know. Sometimes you got to take risks.
Yeah.
I mean, for all the ones you got right, one's been happening.
And I gave you a sweet bulldog from the top, at least of the ladder. Yeah, exactly. So, what?
Come on, baby.
Yeah, there you go. So then you go on to, like you said, a two-time WWE champion. And this is something that when we're kids and you're always pretending to be the champ, you know, you're talking about growing up in Toronto and
I still pretend to be the champ.
Yeah. You're wearing the belt right now with your flesh-colored thong.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to know that you were a WWE champion, I mean, now, you know, I mean, I think is that still the highlight of your career, maybe?
Yeah, I think so. I think that, like, even, like, I mean, I'm not pulling the wool over anybody's eyes. I'm not, like, the most decorated champion in the history of the company by far, but it's one of those things. I don't think you get to that spot, even if it's for, no matter what amount of time, whether it's for an hour, whether it's for 2 hours, or whether it's for 365 days. You know, you have to be able to be believable in that spot. You know what I mean? So I think that just my body work up to that moment. Yeah, it took me a long time, but I built up enough equity, I think, in myself as a performer and as a character that people believed it when I became. These people were asking for it for a long time. They wanted to see it. I wanted to see it, and yeah, it's definitely a highlight of my career for sure.
You gained the respect from the fans at that point, so like, when you got it, they were happy for you.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, but I mean, because
no, they were, and there was a huge uproar when I lost it, like TV time, TV time was 5 days. It was kind of like Twitter was kind of coming to the forefront of people like voicing their opinions and stuff like that. So there was like a lot of like uproar, backlash and stuff like that. People were kind of like talking to Randy like it was his fault, like he had something to do with it, and this and that. And like I'll tell you right now, Randy loved working with me, and vice versa. He was probably my favorite one-on-one opponent.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, just had this chemistry that she was just, every time we locked up, we did something great, I think, and we just, so yeah, it was weird that he kind of got a backlash. Oh, he was barren and didn't want to do it, this and that. No, he was like pushing it. I want to do this. I think it's the wrong thing. Like that, he was actually saying that, you know. So
because you lost the title.
Yeah, he didn't want to do it.
The next day
and then it was like when we sat down and explained it to him, there's a long-term plan here, you know what I mean? And you know, one of you guys needs to turn heel, and Randy just turned babyface. So this is how we have to do it, you know. And so it was fun. And like to me, it's like, man, we're going to some cool places with this. It's going to be a fun ride, you know what I mean? Sometimes just you gotta let it play out and just enjoy the ride and just not try to read too much into it.
I always like to when people go like, oh, Randy's buried, Christian, like as if we have any choice.
Yeah.
Like I'm telling you right now, I don't care if you're John Cena on down. If Vince tells you what the finish is, that's the finish. You're not changing it. You know, and I think a lot of times fans think that, oh, this guy's burying, this guy's. There's no burials. You do basically what you're told, and that's how it goes. And that's the bottom line of how business works.
Yeah. I'm still thinking about Winnipeg, I'm sorry.
But I mean, when you're talking about turning heel, I think you were always kind of a more natural heel than babyface.
Yeah, I think so too. And I mean, I think you know me well enough to know that I'm a pretty sarcastic guy, like, you know, and you know, my younger brother always tells me, he says, if you know a person has puppets, you will just push them until they like snap, and then it's like, hey, what's up? I was kidding, you know. It's like, so I very much tried to be that guy on television, just crank the volume way up and be that annoying guy. You know, I'm obviously not the biggest guy in the world, but I like wanted to be that guy that was chicken shit, backpedaled, cheated to get a guy down, and then when I did, then I was the biggest, toughest guy in the world when I cheated to get a guy down. And I'm like, you know, I have the people in the audience being like, man, I think I can kick this guy's ass. How is he doing this? You know, like, I wanted to be that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Get under people's skin that way, and you know, I think I was pretty good at it.
Do you remember when you were cutting the babyface promo in Cornwall?
Cornwall, Ontario, yeah. They're like, you'll be a babyface, and I'm like, what? They're like, yeah.
It was like,
on somebody.
Yeah, someone shows he had to be a babyface.
Yeah, I was in the middle of my heyday of being a heel, and we were in Canada, this little town, and like they were like, odd number of baby faces and heels, like you're Canadian, if I'm gonna cheer you anyway, go ahead. Just so I'm out there, like, okay, well, let's have to cut a promo. And I was trying to like be nice. I wasn't used to cutting like babyface promos, so I was like, no. I see this one guy talking. He's like to his buddy, and he was distracting me like the Winnipeg story, right? So he was like, I'm looking up and I was going, hey, numbnuts. He was really like, I'm trying to turn babyface here. I don't think anybody.
I love Canada, I love Ontario, I love Cornwall. People are so great. Hey, numbnuts, shut up! I'm trying to be a babyface here. The reaction was not what you expected. Let's talk about some of your nicknames that you had.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do that. Talk about the CLB, the creepy little bastard.
Yeah, that was funny because it actually started with like Steve Austin and I had this like weird rapport, like we're like buddies, but we always kind of like bag on each other all the time. So, hey, what's up, you miserable piece of shit? Yeah, not bad, you stupid fucking idiot. Like just like that. Like we like just how much we run each other down when we see each other, and like sometimes the people don't know us, so they're like, hey, you fucking moron, whatever it is. Like, and they'll be like, wow, did you just say that to Steve Austin? It's like, you know, we had that kind of rapport, and like one day we're sitting in like in catering or something, and I said something to him, and he's like, said something, turned around and said something, hey, creepy little bastard, and then somehow somebody heard it, and it might have been the unnamed Raw writer might have heard it, and it was like, yeah, it turned into like, when he was the authority figure, we were kind of going against him, he just kind of said it on air, and it just kind of stuck from there. And I actually had an idea at the time too, where I was like, hey, this might be a good merchandising thing with this like, creepy little bastard shirt. And it's like, I obviously don't want to wear it, because like I'm not. I wasn't, right?
You're definitely not little.
But no, sorry. My idea was that it was like, so he made like he had the shirt made for merchandising, and I had to wear it, or I was like fired or whatever it was. But he like, and I always tried to like leave it somewhere, and somehow it would always find me before I got out, and I had to wear this creepy little bastard shirt. And like I think people would wear creepy little bastard shirts, and I was like, I never
came to fruition.
No, but
Vince loved that name.
Yeah.
He would always call you that.
Yeah.
You can make a lot of money being a freak.
Yeah.
Make a lot of money being a freak bastard.
Yeah.
And then what about Captain Charisma?
That was, I was off with an injury, and I was off for about 4 months. It was my first like injury, and I was sitting at home and I was trying to think of something kind of different for when I came back, and I wanted some sort of nickname, like Heartbreak Kid or something to that effect that I could add to Christian, because Christian obviously is just a one single name, right? So it's like very just plain. So kind of like maybe I should have a nickname, like add something when I come back, maybe a little bit of. It seems like the right time to do it, come back, be fresh again. So I was just sitting there, and I don't know how I came up with the name, but I was making dinner in the kitchen. I said to my wife, I was like, hey, let me ask you a question. She's like, what? And she's like, we're being honest, like, you know, or she'll just tell you what she thinks straight up. So I was like, yeah, I had this idea for a nickname. She's like, what is it? I was like, what about Captain Christmas? She goes, that's the stupidest name I've ever heard in my life. And I went, perfect, I'm using it.
And that was it.
And I said it about myself in a promo when I came back. I called myself that, and then of course Lawler picked up on it, and he started. Yeah, he kept it. You know, he kept it. Jerry's like, why does he keep calling himself that? And then Lawler's like, that's what, you know. Then that's kind of, you know, that's how it kind of came about.
Jerry was really good at that. If you said something, he would pick it out and focus in on it.
Yeah.
You know, he was really good at helping you to get over the character. You know, which is good.
Yeah.
You mentioned Randy Orton as an opponent that you enjoyed. Who else did you enjoy working with?
No.
Just Randy. I only worked with Randy because you had to. If you could clone yourself.
Yeah. Clone myself, that'd be perfect. No. God, there's so many. Obviously, the Hardys have always been a great one with those guys. You and I working together, and we always had good matches, singles matches too. I remember one time when ECW, when we came back in ECW, and you had a bunch of stuff going on. You literally, like, we used to do ECW before.
Before SmackDown?
Before Raw.
Before Raw.
Yeah, and so we had to do it super early, and like, I think it actually started at like 6:30. This was definitely before the 3 hours, so it was long at night. I think we started at like 6:30 or 7. And I don't think you showed up because you had a bunch of other stuff going on. And you showed up, you had no idea that you were even booked on ECW. It was something that came up with that day, and you walked in, and we were like already in the middle of shooting stuff to put on the show, like backstage segments and stuff like that. And I remember you walked in with your bags. It was like literally an hour, I think, before we were supposed to go out, because a lot of times they would do the championship match first on ECW. So we're just, what do you want to do?
First match of the taping. That's right,
and it was like, what do you want to do? And we're like, just do a finish and see what happens. Yeah, it was a great match.
I remember they had that chemistry.
Yeah.
I think that might have been the last time we ever worked.
I think it might have been.
Was there?
Yeah.
I remember another time when.
I think we did a couple of times. I think we did it in Toronto. You code breaker. I jumped off the top rope. I can't remember exactly what it was for. Some sort of tournament or something. Like beat the clock or something like that.
Oh, one of those ones. Yeah. Because I remember after the ECW when I said to Stephanie, like, can Jay and I start a program again? She's like, oh, he's going to SmackDown, and I was on Raw with the other original brands. But did you work a lot?
That's what I told her to tell you. I was like, just tell him SmackDown.
And he's on Raw again. Yeah. Did you work a lot with Eddie Guerrero ever?
Not enough, unfortunately, but we've a couple times. But yeah, enough. I mean, there's always quick TV matches, so nothing really where we could really kind of sink our teeth into it, really. But something I definitely wish I had the chance to do more with and have like a long match or a program, whatever. But yeah, unfortunately, it was just quick.
Yeah, I never had any program with Eddie in WWE, which was, people always say, oh, Eddie works so much. We only worked in WCW, never in WWE, but very briefly, like you said. What about Owen Hart? When you first came in, did you get a chance
I never wrestled with Owen, ever.
Really?
No. But I got the chance to travel with him a bit because he was in Calgary. So a lot of times he would connect in Toronto, and at the time I was still living in Toronto, so we would end up on the same flight a lot of times. And he was such a funny guy, such a good guy, but he taught me a lot about traveling, but this is what you need to do to get here, like getting in and out of places. He was a master of getting out of airports, getting in cars, getting home, and getting to places real quick. And he was like, but also you could ask him anything, any questions you had, he was always there. He was a good guy, I wish I had so much about him.
Yeah, I remember he would only carry, he would just travel with carry-on.
Yeah.
He never checked a bag, because he always wanted to just get off the plane and go.
Yeah.
And like it would be a little weed, like almost like a shaving kit.
Yeah.
That's all you have. That's all I need.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And I remember another time too, he said, always get to the airport a half an hour early and have a coffee. Because that way you don't have to rush. And every time I'm rushing, I always think, oh, gosh, it was slow when you get a half an hour early. Because that's the hard part people don't understand. It's like the wrestling matches themselves are hard, but it's the travel to get in and out. That's the hardest part.
Yeah. Especially this, like, I was on the way to Omaha, Nebraska for a live event. I was working with Booker for the Intercontinental title at the time, and I had all these flight delays, man. It was a nightmare. And I remember getting into Omaha. The show started at 7:30, and I landed at like 8:30. So the show was already off like an hour in. And at the time, we were going on like first or second. And I remember I called. I don't remember who was the producer or agent, whatever it was. I called. They're like, "Don't worry, we'll bump you back to after intermission. So just get here as soon as you can." And I like, "What's going on now?" "Oh, we're just about to go into intermission." And I'm like at the airport waiting for my bag, and I'm like, "Oh man!" So I was like literally in the cab, putting my tights and stuff on in the cab as we're driving.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Look at the road.
So I was like, literally running there with like my tights and my running shoes on, and like they're playing my music and I'm putting my boots on. This is why we do it, right? To get out here.
Right.
Usually that's
what Alice Cooper says. They don't pay me for the show. They pay me for the 22 hours it takes to get to the show.
Yeah.
And that's basically the same for us.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite guys to travel with as travel partners?
Well, I mean, it's funny because my brands for a long time.
I don't like traveling.
Yeah. So it's like, we'll just meet you like out back or something later.
What about Lance T. Storm?
Yeah, Lance was a trip. So it's like, it was me, Lance, and Hurricane for the longest time, and then after Lance retired, me, Coach, and cartoon, so we love. Sometimes hey, cut it out, jerk. Stuff like that. Or like I read a story with maps. We had this. It was before like the GPS on the phones or whatever. And I might have already told the story, but I'm gonna tell it again. So pretend you didn't hear it. So he used to do the MapQuest thing where he would get the towns for the weekend, and he had a little folder, little do-a-tank folder. He'd print out a folder, all printed out of every day. This is how we're gonna travel. So it was like, he was like, "Oh, it says here, go here, blah, blah, blah." So we pull up the town, and he's like, we pull up this gas station. He's like, "All right, I got us to the town. What do you idiots go inside and ask them how to get to the building?" So I pick up my phone, make a phone call. Hurricane's like pretends he's asleep in the back, and we're literally sitting there for 10 minutes. And we're like, at this point, neither one of us can budge. We can't. So we're sitting there, all of a sudden he's like, "You guys are idiots." He gets up, slams the door, goes inside, gets the directions, comes back, and we start driving. And as we're driving, it's complete silence. He's so mad, and his facial expression went from to. So you know he's mad.
Face, yeah.
So he's like, I was like, "Hey Lance," he's like, "What?" I was like, "You fancy yourself a pretty smart guy, huh?" He's like, "I'm a lot smarter than you." And I was like, "Are you?" He's like, "Yeah, I am." And I was like, "Hey, well, on those addresses for the arenas and stuff they give to us before the road trip." He's like, "Yeah, what about them?" I was like, you could, in MapQuest, they have little lines. You can actually put the full address in there. Instead of just getting us to town, you can probably get us right to the arena. Yeah, I'm so mad.
You can go all the way with this. Last question.
Is it about Winnipeg?
Very storied career. What's your story on Winnipeg? No. Later on, as soon as we're done this,
Yeah.
thing, the Winnipeg story.
I'm sure you're in the area.
You got all your email addresses and phone numbers. So if
this is the first ladder match with the Hardys, the one that kind of put us on the map, and it was just like it was a great night. You know what I mean? Like I said, it was, and we came back, and I remember Mick Foley said to us, he said, "Guys, you just became WWE superstars. You know what I mean? You cemented yourself tonight. This was the night." So it was like, that will always have a special place to me. That, obviously, winning the world title against Alberto Del Rio for the first time in Tampa, which is like my second home.
All right.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. Those are probably the two that stand out the most.
All right. This day is probably
This
the
is
greatest afternoon.
Huge fan. For Christian's side, you Edge and Christian did so many kind of, each town there was a different pose for like whatever it was, either sports or like folklore or something. Do you have any that like really stand out in your mind as like classic 5-second poses?
Yeah, I think the one we did in Indiana with Bobby Knight when he choked the player, that was kind of big at the time. We were doing the 6-man tag match with Team Edge, Christian, and Kurt. And so we wanted to do this little deal. We had Edge came out with the Hoosier coach, sweater on. I think I had the Hoosier player jersey on, and I can't remember what Kurt was wearing. But so we're like, well, how do we do it? There's 3 people. Like, maybe the coach, he's gonna choke me. There's like, why can't Kurt just choke himself? So it was like Edge was the coach, and he choked me, and then Kurt like choked himself, and it's completely ridiculous. That one stands out to me. The jug band in Kentucky was pretty good. We had the teeth, and then I think the Bill Buckner thing in Boston was pretty good. People were pretty mad about that one too. So those are the 3 that probably stand out the most at this point.
Do you mind if I shake your hand as I go around?
Sure. Just mine or? Yeah, man, appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, man. Thanks, man.
I always hug you. Your shirt says "hug like a champ." I'll give you a hug.
What is your name and what's your question?
My name is Ed. I just want to say thank you guys for having this awesome event. My question is for Christian. I guess I kind of want to get a feel for. I really enjoyed your ECW run when you kind of came back and interrupted Jack Swagger. Was there anything that was that supposed to really happen, or did something happen last minute and they changed it? And what was your thoughts during that run? I thought it was really great.
As far as you mean, as far as being on ECW,
Yeah.
Well, there was a couple that I was just coming back at the time, obviously, and just a little interesting tidbit. If you go back and watch it, I actually said "drink it in" that promo, but.
Yeah, of course. I stole everything from him.
He was like, I'm going to use that like in 8 years.
I put it in my trio at the time.
Yeah. Wait, let me put this.
Yeah, give me the little thing, right?
But, yeah, I think there was a couple different ideas on the table. I don't know if they were set, obviously it wasn't set in stone. I know there's a couple things about me maybe being the guy that attacked Jeff Hardy. I know it's been tossed around, but nothing was set in stone at all. I know that for sure. And I think that they just, didn't want to bring me back and throw me in like the Royal Rumble. I wasn't doing that just as like, hey, he's back after so long. They actually wanted me to do something. At that point, from that point, it ended up being Matt that had attacked Jeff. They needed somebody to kind of take that spot as the main baby face on ECW because it was very much a young show. And they wanted somebody up there to kind of work with the younger guys in that. And I mean, honestly, you could take it either 2 ways. You could say, well, it's kind of a slap in the face. Or you could say, I'm going to make this show a nice show and have some amazing matches. And that's what I did. I was like, cool, let's do it. I just wanted to get back. And I was like, I saw a blank slate where I could be the focal point of the show, come back, ease my way back in, kind of reprove myself all over again. Hey, being the focal, I can be the focal point of the show, whether it's this one, whether it's SmackDown, or whether it's Raw. And I was fine with it. And I actually had a lot of fun. It was a really fun run. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Big Ed! Let's hear it for Ed! Ed Jackson, ladies and gentlemen.
What's your name and what's your question?
Hi, I'm Josh. Christian, I really loved your TNA stuff, and the one that I love, it's really obscure, I guess, but my favorite is the Christmas episode when you asked Santa Claus for Jeff Jarrett's white pants so that he could be the true champion. I was just wondering, what's your favorite TNA memory?
What's your favorite pair of Jeff Jarrett pants?
The ones I'm wearing now? I mean, I think working with AJ was probably one of my, because I really liked him, and I always thought that he would be great here. I'm glad he's doing what he's doing now, but I always thought he was like just a really top caliber performer and was going to be breakout at some point. So working with him, kind of see him progress and get more confidence that he was working with me and stuff like that was probably the funnest part for me there, and that sort of thing. But, yeah. Can we get a question for Chris? That's embarrassing.
Do you? Okay, what is your name and what's your question?
Nick, a question for both of you. Never at any time on the show, but I was like front office or creative guy
Legitimate thoughts of leaving?
Yeah, including the company.
A couple times I did. The one time I was actually going to leave was I had just done a job for Viscera in San Jose, and then I showed up and for some reason I had talked myself into getting really pissed off. Like, I'm quitting, this sucks, sick of losing every night, stupid. And we were in State College, Pennsylvania, and I was walking to Vince's office. I was going to tell him, give him my notice, I'm done. And as I'm walking to his office, I see a former writer, not the guy who's here, a guy called Tommy, and he was standing there, and he's like, hey, Chris, how you doing? I'm like, oh, fuck this, I'm going to go leave, I'm giving my notice, I'm telling Vince I quit. He goes, well, you might not want to do that until you find out what you're doing today. I'm like, I don't care what I'm doing, doesn't matter, I'm quitting. He goes, well, let me just tell you what you're doing first, Tommy. There's nothing you can say that's going to stop me from going in that office and quitting. Okay, well, you're winning the world title tonight. I was like, what? Maybe you should tell me. And that's the night when I beat Triple H in the first segment of Raw, and then had to give the title back, 20 to 30 minutes later. But I was ready to quit until, thank God I saw Tommy first, or else I would have walked in there and made a real fool of myself. Probably wouldn't have won the championship that night. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, of course, but I think when you are passionate about something you do, you always want to do more, right? So there's a lot of times where like, I can be doing more than this, and I can be, you're like, yeah, screw it, I'm just gonna, there's no reason to be like, yeah, you get those thoughts, but then you calm down and you think like a rational adult, and you realize, hey, you have to do the best with the situation that you're put in.
Yeah.
And,
you're getting paid, and it's a pretty cool job, so sometimes you just gotta relax and sit down and say, hey, it's really so bad. And I think once you actually think about it rationally, you realize that it's much better than, digging ditches.
When you're passionate about what you do, there's always those emotions that kind of go like this. So yeah, you definitely get those thoughts, but then reality kicks in, you're like,
Yeah.
Hello, what is your name and what is your question?
I'm Luke, and if you could go back and win a match that you lost, which one would it be?
I never lost the match, brother. The crowd was entertained, it's all that mattered.
Yeah. Cigarette?
What's wrong with you, you little fucker? That's for the unnamed Ron, right? I like that one.
Yeah, I think that, that's a question that you can't really answer because we're all basically actors in a play. And if the script says do this or do that, you do it. And to say I should have won this match, or if I go back and change it, it's irrelevant because it's a show business. So basically, that's the best way to look at it.
Hello, what is your name and what's your question?
My name is Felix, great show by the way. Prior to WrestleMania in Atlanta, it was advertised Edge and Christian against the Core tag titles, and the match never happened. Do you know why it didn't happen? Or were there any talks that you guys actually win back to tag titles?
No, I think I didn't know that actually until you just said it. I know there's a couple different scenarios, but I think that I was also supposed to be, I think, in another 6-man tag with, it might have been me and Kane in the Big Show against the Core maybe, and I think that got changed also because it would have taken away from me being with Edge against Del Rio. And I know there was plans with that going forward as well with us, and of course it all changed after that because Ed was kind of to retire. So I didn't know that we were advertising a tag match. I know I was supposed to be in a different tag match, but that got
They ran out of
changed.
commercial and everything.
Oh, I didn't even know.
You'd be amazed at the stuff that we don't know. Or like merchandise that comes out. There's a Chris Jericho coloring book. And like, I've never heard of this before in my life. Like, they should send you one in the mail.
Right.
Give me he's a Chris Jericho bowling ball. Like, does anybody have a Chris Jericho bowling ball? Because if you do, I want it.
Hello, what's your name and what's your question?
Hello, my name is Mariah. My question is for Christian. I want to know if you thought at any point TNA could have done a war with WWE and might have ended up.
No. It's it wouldn't happen first, like realistically. But I mean, it could have been. There's always good to have options, especially for fans and for guys that are trying to earn a living. So it's. I think everybody wanted it to be as good as it could have been, but it's just it doesn't have the resources or the longevity, fan base, the history that WWE has. So it would have been kind of impossible.
Thank you.
Hello, what's your name and what's your question?
Sonia and Margaret quit. Christian, do the 5-second pulse with Jericho.
I don't know if he's down for that.
I don't know, it's not in my contract for doing 5-second
Is
poses.
that your,
Actually, I've always wanted to do one.
is this in your wheelhouse?
Yeah, you never invited me to do one before. Should I do a 5-second pose? You gotta do the speech first, though.
For the benefit of those with flash photography, the first ever vitamin C 5-second pose. Bring that in.
Bring that in, bitch.
Seriously, go back and watch that first ECW run on set.
That's funny.
What's your name and what's your question?
My name is Jamie, and are you in a music kind of mood?
What's that?
Music, kind of? Always.
If I can use the food for a song.
Kazoo was never really my bag, but.
Oh, she has one.
Oh, yeah. It is for this.
They get prepared.
I can play I can play your music.
No.
Yeah.
You're good?
You might have to do the swing spot part, but I might be able to do it.
That's not my thing, though. Right. That's the countdown, that's the explosion.
I'm still thinking about when I made this.
There's some oil in this one, it's not working.
I think I threw a shoelace sticking out.
There you go.
No, it wasn't very
A
good.
little bit of it. It never was.
Hello, what's your name and what's your question?
My name is Christian. I have a question for Jay.
Yeah, gotta come with my shoot name, brother.
I have a question for Christian.
Yeah, what's up?
Who came up with that whole 3-second, 5-second pose? It was you or was it Adam that came up with that?
I take full credit for everything.
Thank you.
No, actually, we were trying to figure out a way to, what we kind of turned heel from the Edge and Christian tag team. We were trying to figure out a way to not come through the crowd so we wouldn't get like hit or pulled or pushed. It was really hard to do actually. So actually, the guy named Raw Rider was like, hey, what if we do a thing where, you know, you're kind of too good for the fans, you don't want them to touch you, but you still want to give them their moment with you, you let them look at you, but they're not allowed to touch you. So maybe we'll like, you know, maybe like pose for like 5 seconds, like for each match, and just like, here, you know, drink it in, man. Just so give it 5 seconds, and then he was like, you know, for the benefit of those, for the benefit of those with flash photography. We're like, what the fuck is flash photography? He was like, you know, like, we're like, yeah, cool, sounds good, let's do it. That's how, like, usually the best ideas are formed like that, where they're just like, it's just stupid enough to work. So that's kind of how we did it. Yeah, thank you very much. Yep.
Hello, what's your name and what's your question?
My name is also Christian, and I'm here as well.
That's not real. There wasn't 2 Christians in a row talking about this. Show me your ID. I don't buy it.
I was going to ask, is there any formal match or program that you would like to end your career on?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's tough. It's hard because like when it happened, I didn't realize that was the end, right? So it's like, I don't know. I haven't really put much thought into it. Yeah, I mean, you definitely would like to kind of build something and gone out where you could have like helped somebody along the way or like, done something kind of cool, but it just wasn't in the cards for me. So it is what it is.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, is your name Christian? What is your name and what's your question?
My name is Yalito. Yes, so my question is that for Jericho, that as a heel, is it easy for you like to say that people that are hypocrites and parasites?
Is it easy?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. It's really easy to rile people up, and it's fun to do because even something like, I mean, now it's become like a catchphrase, but like stupid idiot, for example. This is cold. I got one question. Can you let me answer? But I mean, it's like stupid idiot started like you just like the literal thing, like you're like crowd People are stupid idiots, and people like, boo, you know, like they're mad about that. And it's nothing. You know what I mean? It's literally just like, who would ever get mad at being called a stupid idiot by a grown man? Right? But if you say it properly and you commit to it, people get mad. And that's fun for me. People always say, like, what do you like better, being a heel or babyface? I like them both, but if I had to choose, heel is probably more fun. What's that? I don't know. Ass clown? That's the ass clown, hypocrites. You know, nobody likes being talked down to. So there's little tricks you can use as a heel that always get a reaction. You know, and even though you guys are here and you're happy to see us, if I wanted to make all you guys not like me, I could do it very easily. Because that's kind of what I do. I'm an expert. But that's what I do. Do it! That's funny now, right? At the time, when I first said that, people got pissed off. I am not a gelatinous tapeworm.
Probably they're like, what's gelatinous? They're like pissed off to actually have to learn.
That's right, yeah, they're talking down to me. It's a Nick Bockwinkel trick.
Yeah, and you're the best in the world at what you do.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Hello, what's your name and what is your question?
My name is Brent. I'm from Lethbridge, Alberta.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm checking this out. Question for both you guys. When Cena was on his first run, he came with a Raw, and you guys both worked on a program together. Just curious your thoughts on the program and if you figured you could exactly that now.
I think it obviously knew that he had the potential to do what he's doing. Yeah, I mean, we had it was SmackDown was completely different animal than Raw at the time when he came over. Like it was, yeah,
That was a
it
fun
was
program.
it was a fun
Three-way
program,
match.
and that match it was a long match, and there was a lot of little intricate things we put in there, and he was, you know, right there with us for everything, and like he was, you could tell that he was going to. From there, he was just going to keep going, and he was special. Like,
It's easy to say this, but I honestly can say that I knew that he would from the start, because I saw him do this backwards promo where he would say something like, "Hey man, you know, nice T-shirt. You understand what I said? Let me rewind it and say it again." He would like talk like you were rewinding something, and I just thought it was so like brilliant. Like, what a cool idea. And then the first match we ever had on his first pay-per-view match was against me in Detroit. And the finish originally was for me to win, and I called Vince and said, "You got to put this guy over. You can't just have me beat him." And he's like, "Well, why? You think he's got something?" And I was like, "Really honestly do believe that he does." I saw that from the start. It took a while for him to get there and figure out, like for all of us, how do you harness this character. But I could tell there was something about him that was stood out from pretty much anybody else that I'd seen, and I was right.
What is your question?
My name is Noah. For both of you, who's your favorite wrestler on the NXT or the active roster?
I work in the big leagues, man.
So you're your favorite wrestler?
Was that? I'm just joking, but I mean, Samoa Joe is awesome. I think you've probably worked with him quite a few times. I think he's probably the most unknown great wrestler out there, and I think when he finally comes to the main roster, the big leagues where I work, that he's going to make a huge impression. I can even see him, if they do it right, being a legit, believable opponent against Brock Lesnar. And there's not many. There's probably the only guy that I can think of, if they bring him in properly, can really make some money with Brock. And then Nakamura is great as well. I worked with him in Japan about 2 months ago by request. I wanted to see, is he really as good as people say he is? He's excellent performer.
I think my favorite guy, present company excluded. But no, I think AJ is probably. I think he's, from the moment he stepped out, he was like, you could tell he thought I belong here. And that's like, sometimes the nerves get the better of you. He didn't have that from the moment he stepped out. It's almost like kind of like what. Yeah. This was a long time coming.
He was a legit main event performer.
Yeah, so I think it's exciting for me because I've always liked him. I always thought he was capable of doing this. So it's pretty cool to see. Thank you.
All right.
Hello, you are the last one. What is your name and what
Better
is
be a
your
good
question?
one.
Hi, my name is Paul. I'm from Jamaica, Queens. And my question is that you have a match with Enzo and Cass tonight for SummerSlam. Why is it during the build-up you kept telling them to stop it? What is it?
That's the eternal question, isn't it? Yeah, yeah, when you're ready to find out, I will fill you in. Until then, you're not ready.
Can you tell me?
No. There you go, man. No, actually, where that started from, just a quick thing, is it was kind of, I guess you call it a challenge for myself. I wanted to see if I could get the word "it" over. Honestly, I was like, I think I can.
What?
The word, yes, you're right. Like, what? Yes. Now it's "it." It's a fine tradition of just getting a one-word catchphrase. So I think it's working so far. I'm going to continue on it. There you go. Continue on it. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Jericho.
All right, now, the final phase of this wonderful event. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to allow everybody here to get autographs and photos with Christian, Chris, and Noel. So what we're going to do is we're going to put Noel at the table here, where Christian and Chris
By the
are.
sounds of the Q&A, most people just want a picture and an autograph.
That's true. Chris and Noel will be leaving. Christian will be, no, we're going to move Christian and Chris over here in front of this photo booth, and we're going to line you guys up right here. One at a time, you can walk over, you get the amount of autographs you paid for, and a photo with Christian and Chris. And if you'd like to hang out and get a photo and autograph from Noel, she'll be right here on stage. So Jared, if you want to go over there, right over, he's going to be at the front of the line up right in front of Jared. And one more time, make some noise for Chris Jericho and Christian.
Don't do that.
Hey guys, just for clarification, if you're waiting in line for Noel, if you could go to stage left over here, we'll start Noel's line along this wall, and this line right here will be for Christian and Chris. Thanks, guys.
Kevin Owens after that? I don't know. This might. Audio I was actually at the Emerson
Yeah, right there, that should be a line right one.
from South Jersey.
That's ours.